What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a good day. We got a bunch of videos to go over today. Uh-oh. That was okay. We got a bunch of videos to go over today, so let's just jump right into them here. Beautiful. So far, so good. Everything's still working. And we got all our stuff. Perfect. All right. So today we got a leg workout to go over. Looks like we have 12 clips. I know one of them we went over yesterday. But yeah, let's just jump right in. I don't know why that didn't work. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, so leading off with the hack squat. So last program we did squats, and now we're into the hack squat to lead off the program here. Kind of want to keep them in the same motion, but give them a little more power. The last time we went over this exercise, the big thing was foot position. It was a little bit low and was kind of messing up his form a little bit. So let's see how today goes. It does look better already. Little shoulder fix there, which is good. Oh. Regrouping. So the other thing we talked about last time was trying to get him to relax a little bit. And put the exercise more on the legs and less strain with the upper body and with the face. And honestly, this looks much better. I'm gonna pause it at the bottom. So here, again, the angle makes it a little tough to tell what this true angle is here, but it looks pretty good. If anything, he's maybe going down a little low, but we don't need to worry about him coming too far forward. Like last time, his feet were back here, and that was creating his knees to go forward too much and putting too much pressure on the knee. He should be much more reliable here. He can push through the heel. We've seen that already in a couple of reps. It looks good. And all the momentum, because of this position, is now pushing straight up, which is exactly what we're hoping for. We don't see any unnecessary foot movement, which is nice. Still probably a little strain up here, but nothing crazy. Looks a lot more fluid than it did last time. I like it. Much better. Good job. I think we can safely move on from that one. Now, I think this is the second set. They're a little out of order here, but that's my fault. So interesting, this one looks more like what we looked at last week, where his foot's a little further back. I haven't started the video yet. Maybe he fixes it, but let's see. Oh, I spoke too soon. Well, that one was really low. Maybe a bit much. Felt a little better. There, squeeze, push through the heel. It's right on the cusp. So what I'm watching for here, if you're curious, is whether the knee shoots this way or whether the first movement is this. Let's go back a little bit. So if we draw a line up his shin here, you can see it does get just a little bit of a knee forward movement there before it comes back. It's pretty minimal because keep in mind he is crossing this on his way down. So it's not as bad as it looks. That one was really good. Yeah, I don't mind it. Because he is crossing it on the way down too. We'll take it. I guess notes for this one is just continue trying to relax the upper body and be very careful again of this. We don't want that knee coming forward. We want to be pushing purely through the glute purely through the heel and firing up with the first movement being the upper body, not with the first movement being the knee. But I don't really have much to complain about on that. Let us move on. So I think next, we went over these yesterday, but I want to make sure we do these in order. We're going to do this one quickly. But the sumo squats. So if you didn't see yesterday's stream, we are going to zip through this quickly. If you want to see the full thing, there's not a lot to say, honestly. It looks pretty good. I did talk a little bit about chest position, but let's break this down really quick. What we really want here, obviously, is that arch in the back. He's doing a pretty good job, and also keeping in mind that he's very vertical here, which is great. This is a good line here. You'll see a lot of people do this, and they try and do this. But he's in a great position here. The only couple things I would change before he starts, I would maybe go a little wider and turn the toes out a little bit more. And then suck those shoulders back even more. I really want to see, even from this angle, and we're slightly behind him, I want to see the chest elevated in this position. It feels awkward, but really pulling that chest up is going to make everything easier. And it's great practice for when we go into other exercises, because you really want those scapulas retracted, chest elevated, and clear those shoulders out of the way. If you don't, and the shoulders are forward, now all of a sudden, instead of all the pressure being down here, you've got a lot of pressure pulling down on your shoulders, and you're fighting that the whole time. Whereas if your shoulders are back, not in that direction, if your shoulders are down and back, and resulting is your chest is up, then all that pressure all of a sudden is straight down through the glute and the hamstring. So one thing we did mention yesterday was that if he wants a little more range of motion on this, he can stand on a couple plates or a couple risers just to give himself that little extra room, because he is using a weight heavy enough that he's having a hard time with range of motion here. It's good where it is, but if you wanted just that little bit of leeway so you didn't have to tap the ground, it would benefit him to have something to stand on. If we stop this mid-set, again, he is very vertical, which is great. If we had those shoulders sucked back a little more, we would get a little more of an arch here instead of just completely flat. And of course we want that arch. Think of like an egg. If you push on both sides of an egg, the reason it doesn't break is because of those arches. The reason they build bridges with arches underneath is the structural stability of it, right? The structural stability of that arch in our back is what keeps us strong. If we eliminate it and all of a sudden we're flat backed instead of that natural arch in our back, then all of a sudden we're weakening ourselves, and we don't need to be doing that. So that's part of the reason why I'm really picky about his shoulder position here. But otherwise, it looks really good. He's looking straight ahead. His leg position here is really good. He's got good range of motion. I like where this is going. Other than the shoulder thing. And even then, I'm being really nitpicky, but that's what you guys are here for. Last one. Oh, he was just putting it down. Never mind. I kind of feel like I should have this tablet on the other side, because when I do that, it's not that bad, but it would probably be better since I'm using my right hand if we were on the other side. Anyway, maybe we'll change that another time. So we've got a bunch of laying leg curls, and we've got the step ups, and we've got the extensions. Let's start with the leg extensions. So last time we looked at leg extensions was a couple weeks ago. We talked about this lean, which is great. What happens, of course, if you go to, if we call this line 2, if you go to line 2, the tendency is for your hips to fire up and out of the way here, and we don't want that. Also, using that excess weight that you get from leaning back, all that pressure ends up going right there on the knee, which isn't great. So it's we like that lean. It's putting everything in the right position. Last time we went over his, I felt like this pad was a little too high on his shin. It looks like he's dropped it down here, so good adjustment. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to leave that line there because that's his starting position. So we want to hopefully maintain that along the way. Let's turn off the gym volume. Nice. That was very subtle, but I like it. I've been bugging him nonstop about clearing those shoulders, and he did it there. There was a big breath, rolled the shoulders back, chest is elevated. Fantastic. Love to see it. There we go. Be careful of pushing that head forward. Staying pretty stationary, looking straight ahead. That's good. Hopefully you're breathing, because it doesn't look like you are. Got a nice quad contraction. Come on, keep those eyes open. Relax the face. Breathe. It looks good, honestly. It looks really good. The breathing is the one thing here. Otherwise, he's spot on. We got the lean. We got the foot position of the machine. Like, he's got all the angles right here. He's got his chest elevated. We're on the quad. His pacing seems good, although we're going to watch it back once at full speed. But honestly, looks good. The only thing that I'm going to be nitpicky about is the crazy stress in the face and the lack of breathing. So focus on that and try and relax the upper body a little more. And I know obviously it's hard. You're not going to be fully relaxed. There's going to be strain there, but I don't want like that, right? We want you breathing, everything composed. You did it really well with the hack squat. So bring that same thing over to your leg extension and you'll be good to go here. While we're between videos here, I should mention, if you guys want your form reviewed, you don't need to be a client to get your form reviewed. So just send me your videos. You can send them to me on Discord. It's probably the easiest way, or you can email them to me. Also, if you want to, you can post on Instagram and use the hashtag #RateMyForm. And I do look there for some videos as well, especially as his form gets better. We won't need to be reviewing so many videos, so we'll have more space to look at other stuff. So yeah, if you guys want to get your stuff reviewed, make sure you send it in. And if not, then that's fine too. All right, so laying leg curls. I wish I knew which set was the first one here, but I have no idea. So let's just start at the beginning. All right, so this has been his arch nemesis for a while now. We struggled with loading the muscle on this exercise in the single leg curl. So I'm bringing him over to the double leg curl in an attempt to get this dialed in so that we can go back to the single leg curl and fix that as well. Fun note here, this video is half the time of the other ones, so I'm curious to see why, or if he just edited it, but we'll see. First things first, this is good. We're in a great position to load here. His chest is up, his shoulders are back. He is completely straight, which is good. What we're hoping happens is as his legs come up, his torso goes down, and this weight just very slightly, hey, Cassius, stop. This weight very slightly gets loaded on the hamstring. We don't want like an actual leg curl on our way down. We just want it loaded. So essentially, we want the weight stack to be off of resting position and the weights to be on his hamstrings on the way down. If you weren't here the last time we went over this, the reason we want this is because if you start here and your first movement is trying to unrack this weight, you're not going to be able to do it with just your hamstrings unless it's too light. There's no way you're going to be able to do it without cheating. You're going to need some sort of momentum because your hamstrings aren't loaded yet. So in order to load those hamstrings, you need to like kind of curve your back a little bit, or so we'll get one of two movements. You'll get a back arch, or you'll get a hip rotation in this direction. Which generally will cause a back arch anyway. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully we load the muscle and I will be very happy, even if we have other stuff to correct. That is what I'm looking for most here. Come on with the pivot. Yes. No stop. And go into it. First movement, hamstring. Hey, we did it. I'm so happy. All right, that's pretty close to perfect. Let me pause this at the top. I'm so happy. This has been a long time coming. And he will be excited to hear this as well. You can see we still have the chest up. This is the theme of today. Yes, we're doing a leg workout, but it doesn't mean you can afford to lose your posture. I see a lot of people when they do leg workouts, especially stuff like this, it's very easy to get this relaxed upper body. Let your shoulders kind of just hang onto the bench. That's not what we're doing. We don't want to do anything in poor posture. We want everything in good posture all the time. We want everything aligned. And he's doing a fantastic job of it. Plus, you can see the finish position here. We have a nice arch. If I'm going to be nitpicky here, his feet are flexed. I would prefer if his feet were a little more relaxed, because I bet you if you ask him, he would tell you that he could feel it in his calves a little bit. And that's not because he's doing it wrong. It's because his whole lower leg is contracted instead of being relaxed, which is normal. A lot of people do that. And he has a tendency toward it as well, but we're working on it. I hope this was the first set and we carry this through all 3 sets, because this is great. We could maybe afford to have a little more range of motion at the top, if you can. It's coming a little short at the top. It looks really good. We're going to draw some lines on this. Hold on. So he's off the pads. Once we're loaded. Okay. Whoops. Shit. I missed the pause button when I tapped it there. All right. That's going to have to do. So what we're looking for is this. So in order to be purely on the hamstrings, we can afford a little bit of upper body movement, but we want this upper body movement to be around the hip. So you want your whole upper body to stay arched, but you want it to be tilting, as opposed to like arching in the middle. We don't want that arch in the middle to be more or less than what it is. So we may see him come up a little bit. As long as he maintains that arch, though, we're okay. So let's play it from here. Look how stationary he's staying. He does get a tiny little flex. You can see it right there. You can see his butt kind of come into the screen, but it's so minimal. It's really good compared to where we were before. It's literally just his shirt coming into the picture. Now, if we can just get a little tiny bit more range of motion on that, I would be so happy. Good job. All right, on to the second one. Hopefully it's as good as the first one. Can tell he's really thinking about it. All right, not as good as the other one, but it's pretty close. And look, you see that? See that slight difference? So watch. Come down. So this one, it moved, don't get me wrong, but so he is loaded technically. But look, we don't have the same arch. And you know why we don't have the same arch? Because the chest isn't up as much as the other one. Remember how we talked about how important it is to have the chest up? Like we did in the first version of this? Watch what happens. Let's clear this. Draw this. Whoops. Draw our line here. Oh, God. And now watch the difference between this one and the first one. You can see it's not coming above the screen, but that's partially the angle. You can see this rotation. Let me remove that so you can see it. But you can watch the hips tilt every single time. Let's go with this. Let's draw a line on his shirt here. Makes it a little easier to see there. You can get that butt flex. It's minimal. It's still pretty good. I feel like that red line isn't doing this justice. But you can see the hips rotating upward every single time. Just a little, but a lot more than the last time. Particularly right there. And that's all because the chest isn't up as much as the last time. The arch has improved as the set went on, but part of that is because the hips are rotating into his arch. And it's just because the load wasn't as spot on as the last set. So that's how incredibly important it is to really get this dialed in and make sure the chest is up, because that's the effect it can have, is he's now lost it a little bit and he's not getting as much hamstring activation as he was in the first video. So let's go on to the third one. And see how this one goes. Unfortunately, I can't see which video is which in terms of order. Oh, he didn't load at all. Go back, go back. No. I was so happy with that other set. I hope it was the third one and he looked back, because you can see here the legs are not even moving. He's already coming down. And then he just starts. And we're gonna, even without having watched it yet, look at this. There's almost no arch here at all on this one. The chest is down instead of up, which is another part of the reason why there's no arch. And because he's not loaded, we're gonna see a huge difference here. I feel like we watched these in the wrong order. Okay, that's exaggerating the wrong way. Now watch. You can see the butt coming up in this direction, which is pushing his lower back down, causing a little bit of an arch there, but that's just flexion from the lower back. So now we've got lower back flexion, trying to get those hamstrings pumping. Unfortunately, it's causing some fake strength there. And so he's not reaching the line anymore, so he's trying to control it, but you can still see a little bit of extra flexion with every rep. Very minimal here. There's some butt rotation. A lot of butt rotation on that one, and that one. And that one. Yeah, so we're into the hips rotating now on those last three. But gotta give credit where credit is due. This first one was freaking beautiful. So can't take that away from him. Let's watch it at full speed, because I didn't watch any of these at full speed. The beautiful load there, the chest is up. We do have a little hip rotation, but he's in such a good position. He's keeping that on the hamstring the whole way. If anything, it's maybe a little fast. We could slow him down, reduce the tension in the lower leg, but from where we've come from, this is so good. So huge step in the right direction on those. Definitely approve. All right, into the step ups. So last time for the step ups, we were using a bench that was too high. I'm not sure what this is that he's using, but it looks like a more appropriate height. I believe last time, if I remember correctly, we were using this thing, which is fine, but it was a little too high and causing a little too much power or pressure on the knee. So I wish I hadn't paused it there. What I would do, so the starting position looks better in terms of height. It looks like we've got a 90-degree angle here close to it. Part of the problem is his foot is back, reducing the 90-degree angle, because it would be 90 degrees if his foot was forward. There is going to be, you're gonna have to have a little bit of an angle. You're not gonna get rid of it completely. This is probably a little too much, but what I am seeing is I feel like his foot is too far into the bench. I don't know how else to explain that. I want his right foot closer to us and like right on the edge of that bench so he can push through the heel. The pressure should be coming straight down, and therefore this side should be coming straight up. Instead, we get a little bit of a lean and a little bit of a bend this way in the knee, and then the momentum comes up afterward. Watch. He goes down first, and then he pushes up. So we're not trying to work out this leg. We're trying to work out this leg, right? We want it all through that leg. We want this leg to be dead, essentially. We'll see how he does here. There you go. So he fixed the foot position. I said it was too far in, and after the first one, he realized, hey, Cassius, stop. That's my dog. So after the first one, he realized it, and he moved his foot in. Great adjustment. Let's see how that changes the movement. Much more controlled on the way down, and much less push with the left leg on the way up. There's still a little bit. What you'll see a lot of people do in this is on the leg that's pushing, instead of this foot staying flat, they'll come up on their forefoot a little bit. He's not doing that, which is good. Also, he's got his chest up again, which I know we talked about today quite a bit. A lot of leg movement on that one, on the left leg. Got to remember, really pushing through the heel of the right leg only. Keep that left leg dead. Looks pretty good though, honestly. Now that he's made the adjustments, like that one was pretty good. It did bend, but he wasn't pushing with it. Nice. And he adjusted here. He realized what he did wrong on the first one, and now this position is much more natural. Plus, the foot is right on the edge of the bench here, which we like. First one was straight up. A little too much with the off leg, but corrected it there. And this foot is staying down. This looks much better. Oh, that one he came up on the forefoot a little bit. Really want to keep the weight back and through the heel. As you can see, when you come into the forefoot a little bit more, as we have these last few reps, watch, look at this position. Now all of a sudden we're way out here, and we didn't start out here. Maybe that's not far enough. Let's get him on the first couple. So he starts here, which is, we can't compare the two directly. We got to see what happens when he actually does the movement. But that's a big difference between start position and where he was the last couple reps. But like even there, you can see he did go forward a little bit. So even here, which is probably the worst point, he's in between, not on that red line. Maybe a little bit more. He's hitting it on the way down, but you can see as he gets tired, now he's starting to hit that red line. As he pushes more. The more he pushes with the forefoot instead of the heel, the more that knee starts to creep forward. And that should be the last one. Yeah. So definitely a big thing to remember here is just keep that push through the heel. Everything else looks good. Your height looks good. Your positioning looks good. What's up, Pootie? I was just talking about you. Believe it or not. So yeah, really try and get this push through the heel the whole way through, as once you lose that and start going on the forefoot, this is how that angle changes and you start shifting forward. And once you shift forward this far, that pressure now falls here on the knee instead of through the posterior chain and the quad. So next we got calf raises. We have 2 sets of calf raises and we have the set of rollouts. Good. I was gonna say, don't try and balance on that. I definitely prefer the step off before you get started. Much better range of motion here instead of just doing it on the ground. I wouldn't mind using a bumper plate there. Those plates are a little bit low. You like the other one better? These aren't bad. These are better than they were last time by a lot. You can maybe get a little more range of motion on that, but the big one that you missed that we went over already was your hamstring curl. I'm not sure which set was which. I'd have to go back and check the file numbers, but I can't see them from here. You absolutely nailed the load on one of your sets. But it was really interesting because you could see the other 2 sets, you could see what happens when you don't nail the load. So really want to make sure you go back and check that out when you have time. Because the one set where you did it right looked twice as good as the other 2. Yeah, well, you'll see it when you watch it. It just happened to be the first one I watched, but also I saved them out of order unintentionally, because what I did is when I had to convert them from YouTube to the actual file numbers, and I was trying to go in order of yours, but I already had a file under one of them that was existing, and it messed up the order of the files because it saved under a different number. So I would assume it was your 3rd set just based on how much better it looked, but I'm not sure. But I found those hamstring curls really interesting. Yeah, so the only thing I would change here is just increasing the range of motion. Otherwise, your posture's good. Get a little more range of motion on the way down and a little more on the way up. Not too much to dissect on this one. We will see what you meant by the second one is better. And knock on wood, we've had no technical difficulties today. First time ever. Wait, there's no plate. What happened? This was the first one. Okay. You just did it. You did it without it and forgot. Yeah, okay. But funny enough, your range of motion here on the way up actually looks better. You're not getting the down range of motion because there is no down range of motion. I would try and find a plate that's a little bit thicker though, if you can. Either use the bumper plates or try using 245s. Because you could use just a little more range of motion on the down, but otherwise good. I'm not sure how much weight that is. Are those 45s? I can tell you're using the bumper plates on the thing, but they could just be 25-pound bumper plates. It's hard to tell. I know you mentioned it in the Discord. I just forget what it said. It was 135. Hey, buddy. We have a self-proclaimed attention-starved puppers who's been getting attention all morning. Don't worry, buddy. We're almost done. Go lay down. You're okay. Go lay down. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what we talked about on this one last time. Oh, it was the range of motion. We wanted that little cat stretch at the end, and we wanted less of a rest phase coming this way. That's what we talked about last time. And these angles we also talked about. Trying to keep this angle and this angle the same. Tried to reach there, started to lose it a little bit on the core, so brought it back. The range of motion was better this way. You didn't come too far. You could still use a little cat stretch here, get that back up and really squeeze. It does look better though. It looks like you're pulling with your knees a little bit. The squeeze portion looks better, which in turn is giving you, although this is a terrible example, but it's giving you better angles here. You kind of lost this one. When your legs are you're going over that lip. Yeah, that sucks. Try in the future to not do that. Go this way if you need to, because changing direction sucks. Or move up way up here so you're all on the hardwood or on the hard floor instead of on the carpet. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So try and fix these angles a little bit. At where your current leg angle is, you should be done the movement and be doing like a cat stretch here a little bit. But your way out is really good form-wise. Starting here. From here to the end and then back to here is really good. It's just the very finish that gets a little sloppy. So like here, you're in a good spot still. If you just went a tiny bit up from here, to get a core contraction and then went back into your next one, this would be good. But it's definitely better. You don't need this, right? We don't need this angle. That's too far. We talked about that last time. You were better the first few reps, but as you're getting tired, now you're taking this rest at the end, which we don't need. It's unnecessary. But again, this looks really good, minus the carpet issue. And you look good to here. If you stopped here and either went up a little bit or even just started your next movement from here, you'd be good to go. But it's not as bad as the last one, but it's still a lot of extra movement that's kind of just a rest phase in between. And yeah, I hate that roll on the carpet. I can feel it every time you do it. Especially in slow motion. Feels worse. Yeah, let's bring this back to the beginning and play this at full speed just to see. See, those look really good. You're stopping, well, the first one, you stopped early. And then as you get more tired, you go further and further back. If anything, that one especially on the carpet hurt. Yeah, just getting that better surface to work with, I think will fix a lot of your issues here. But it looks good. All in all, today was a big improvement over the last one, which is obviously expected. The last one was your first time through these. Now that we made those little adjustments, you're pretty close to dialed on all your exercises now, which I'm very happy with. The hamstring curl in particular, that one set, I was so happy. Unfortunately, I watched it first and then watched the other two after it, and I was like, oh no, we went the wrong direction. But if you can replicate that first set on that, I'm not going to go over them all again, but your squats looked good. Your hack squats looked good. I mean, we went over your sumo squats yesterday, but I did do a brief overview of them today. We talked about the leg curl. The leg extension was good. I think it was just the upper body strain that I wanted you to reduce a little bit. Obviously, the calf raises were good. Just trying to edit the range of motion there a little bit. And yeah, you were here for the step ups, I believe. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, so let me know. I'm not sure when your next one is, but we'll go over it when I get your videos. I think you did upper this morning, if I remember correctly. So we should have videos incoming, but either way, I want to get some pulled from Instagram. We're going to do some videos from Rate My Form again to see some random ones and see what we can find. Next 5 days at home, nice. So we should get lots of videos the next few days. I would love to get you one of those workout number 3s in there somewhere. So you might need to, I don't know. Well, we can talk about it. We don't have to do it here, but yeah. Either way, good job. Huge improvement over the last ones. We're going to wrap up here for today. If anyone has any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to send me your videos like we talked about earlier. You can either send them to Discord or my email will work. Otherwise, have a great night, and we will see everybody next time. Thanks for watching, and bye for now, guys.